Hello, guys. How you doing? Dwayne DeRo here. I can't hear. This is all new, but I want to welcome you to the All State Soccer Show and talk a little bit about DeRo Foundation and what is it exactly that we do. We're a program designed to support kids in high-risk priority communities, and we do after-school programming for inner-city kids through sport soccer, and we use that vehicle to drive social change as well as to help fight obesity, to help build a stronger leadership within our community, as well as we help kids to have a safe space to play during after school. As we all know, right now, a lot of these specialized programs, like clubs and academies, for some are not easy to access. So we try to make sure we create a safe space where kids could be involved in sport and give them a platform where they can express themselves through sport, as well as a healthy environment where kids can break down any social barriers that might exist in these communities, and that creates an opportunity to learn different cultures and all that through the power of sport, as well as we teach nutrition, something that is one of our core values, and the importance of kids, as I mentioned, obesity, and understanding that even though we might be living in an environment that we don't have a lot of access with the choices that we have, it's still important to make the right choices regarding our nutrition. And of course, we focus also on money management, where we find this component is definitely lacking with kids, not only in inner city communities, but right across the board. Kids understanding the importance of investment, importance of the understanding of saving. And so we really drive financial literacy through our DeRo Foundation. So not only do we just focus on sport, we also focus on a lot of other initiatives that we find, and I find very important, growing up as someone that's in the after school program, that growing up from after school programs, that these key tools are very vital for youth development and youth growing up in these communities. And what you will find is a lot of promising young athletes growing up, boys and girls, in these communities, and they deserve to have equal opportunity and equal chance, just like everybody else. And if it wasn't through these after school programs, kids like me wouldn't be here sitting before you guys to present and to create more opportunities for kids in these environments. So I am very grateful. I know firsthand how important after school programs are, being a product of after school programming. I'm just very honored and very proud that I'm able to help kids like myself in these communities and give them a platform to create change. So again, thank you, and we encourage you to find out more about the DeRo Foundation through our website, derofoundation.com. And if you have any questions regarding the program and what we're about, please feel free to send us any of your questions. Thank you, Xavier. Good question. If I don't have a career in soccer, what would my career, what my other job would be? I really like music. I'm a big music guy, so I'll definitely be involved in some state of music. Or I don't really see in terms of much other out there instead of soccer. My whole life revolves around the game. Now, if I didn't become a player, I'll probably be into coaching or refereeing. My dad did refereeing, my dad did coaching, and I'll still be giving back to the sport that's brought me so much and that I love. I'll just find a new way to redefine myself, as I'm doing now as a retired professional player. How can we change this pay-to-play model in North America? It's something that obviously that it makes it very challenging. I do think there should be some responsibility in terms of financial responsibility. It does take a lot to get a program running, especially on a provincial level. So there should be some fees. Now, the question is, I don't think it should be so much where it limits kids having the same opportunity as other kids. So it's through programs like my DeRo Foundation. It's through programs that we as a community have to try to put in place to help kids that don't have access and don't have the financial resources to pay these astronomical figures to be a part of an organized sport. So I think we do have to reevaluate the cost, the amount, and the fees, especially according to what some of these programs are giving the kids. It's very expensive, and we got to find a solution for families in need and that want their kids to be a part of these environments. Thank you for that question. Is it academy? Is it academy, or do your players play on a team and play against other teams? No, the DeRo United Academy is an academy. They are on teams, their own teams. We have ages U8s right up to U16s. It is a full-on academy. And in terms of the DeRo Foundation after school programs, it's a grassroots program. We do have our coaches that are part of our academy go work with these kids. Again, the goal is not to create soccer players, even for the academy. The goal is to always, first and foremost, create better young men and better young women, more confident young men, more confident young women, and to give them these tools. As we know, not everybody's going to be a professional soccer player, and everybody will turn out to be a professional soccer. But if we can help create better young men and better young women through sport, that's always the goal. So I can't see any other questions here. Maybe, oh, there is more. There's a lot more. I got to scroll down. Okay. In terms of the foundation, it's an after-school program, and it starts with with kids in elementary school. Every program is a little bit different. So depending on the program and where it's located, we vary from ages 8 to 17, 16, 17-year-olds. Well, what does our foundation adhere to? That's a broad question. We are under the Toronto Community Fund. We in terms of what we adhere to the principles of developing a young man or women holistically, and using sports to create social change and to help kids in these environments. As I mentioned, like myself, that sometimes people overlook. And I've been very fortunate to travel the world with my philanthropic initiatives and using soccer as a platform and a vehicle to drive social change, as well as to help kids in these communities. Where do I find youth soccer progressing the most in Canada? Well, thankfully through Vancouver Whitecaps, Montreal Impact, Toronto FC, MLS, and their great work with academies. I think these three areas are doing a fantastic job of creating a platform. We see Alfonso Davies come through the Vancouver Whitecaps system. You see Jonathan Osorio come through the TFC system, and Montreal is doing a fantastic job there as well. So with more kids wanting to play the game, with more platforms that these kids can showcase their talent on an international and a national level, will only create more player pathways to breed success. What made you want to play soccer? Just a simple love for the game and passion for the sport. It's a sport that I grew up with. My older brothers played, my father played, and it's a sport that really brings me a lot of joy and a lot of I'm very passionate about. Are the Canadian clubs in the MLS doing enough to ensure more Canadian talent is showcased? I think so. I think we've seen it firsthand again with Alphonso Davies and other players that are really using that platform to showcase their talents on an international level. MLS is not just seen in North America. MLS is seen. Hello. MLS is seen globally. How would you suggest getting a child interested in playing soccer if they do not necessarily show interest in sports? That's always going to be a little bit difficult. If a child doesn't show interest in sport, it's always hard to get those motivated. But I always say do the simple thing. I mean, sports come from simply just running around in the playground playing tag. That could be infused into one day maybe doing a sport like track and field or something. So we got to find unique ways to get our kids engaged. Sometimes if you just throw a ball at their feet, they may not be excited to just kick around a ball. So they might find interest in other things. So I think it all starts in the playground and creating a enjoyable time with your kid in the park, doing pull-ups on the swings and stuff like that. So just staying active is the most important thing. I'm trying to get on. What are some of your challenges of coaching your own son? Just coaching your own son is always going to be a little bit difficult. I'm not his coach, but I still definitely work with him. It's always you see your child and you see their potentials and they can give a lot more. So sometimes when you see them maybe giving up on themselves or ready to quit a little bit earlier, you want to continue to push them and inspire them and motivate them to keep pushing on. But you're always going to be a dad at the end of the day. So you can put on your coach hat, but you're always going to at the end of the day be a dad, and that's always going to be your child. Yes, I am planning to coach in the future. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I definitely want to get involved. I've been doing my coaching licenses, so it's something that I want to develop and continue to grow. What are the ramifications for the men's national team if Canada doesn't qualify for Qatar 22? There's no real ramifications except not qualifying for the World Cup. It's something that I think it would be a great catapult. It would be a great first step into experiencing what the World Cup has to offer before it comes here in 2026. So it's very important. I think it's vital that we do whatever we can to qualify for Qatar 2022. What are your thoughts on the Canadian Premier? I think it's a great league. I think it's fantastic. I'm happy that Canada has took the initiative to try to build a professional league. And it's going to take time. It's not something that's not going to happen overnight, as we saw with where MLS started in '96 and where it is today. So it'll definitely take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and especially fans buying in. What are your thoughts of activity style versus the soccer skill style of coaching across Canada? We were kids in the soccer program, but these just felt like activity levels to get the kids out and about versus skills development and training. Any advice to parents and young children? Well, I think skills development is always going to be important. I think friendliness with the ball, and the more kids have touches on the ball and develop themselves individually, is the most important thing, especially kids under 15, 14, 15. I think it is very important to focus heavily on ball mastery and individual technique with the ball, because especially kids that want to take the game to the next level, you're going to have that individual confidence. You're going to have that individual skill and adaptability to take your game to the next level. So in order to do that, you have to be confident in your touch, and you have to be confident in your ability. And the only way you can really get that is if you practice, do a lot of one-on-one skill stuff with the ball. And it comes in various ways, just doing the simple things and mastering the simple things, repetition. How do you know if your children is at the right club for them? Yeah, it's hard to say how you know if your children's at the right club. I guess if they're enjoying what they're doing, if if you're happy where you're at, if there's dialogue between you and the coaches or the team, if a lot of times, it's very important that you also, or us as parents, also can continuously keep engagement with the coaches and ask the coach, well, how's your kid doing, and or ask your kid to ask the coaches, is there anything that you need to work on? So there's ownerships on both parts. Is constant engagement on the parents and the players with the coaches. I think it creates a healthy environment, and I know for our academy, it's very important that we want to stay engaged with the kids and continuously creating dialogues with them. But you also want them to come to you sometimes and show interest in their own development as well. Are you thinking of and coaching professionally and next steps in your career, men's national team? I mean, if that opportunity comes in the future, it's one that I definitely wouldn't let pass me by. It's one that I'll look into and see if it's the right timing or if it's the best thing for me. Why not? Obviously, I love the game and I want to continuously see it grow and develop. And have an opportunity to coach your country would be a huge honor, or have an opportunity to coach at a professional level would be a huge honor. There, you've played in the U.S. and Canadian teams. Can you talk about the difference you experienced between the two country styles of play, their fans, etc.? Well, playing in the U.S. is it's different than Canada, and it's still yet the same. I mean, the fans are still very passionate. The fans are still very committed to the team, and now we're starting to see some major stadium investments going into the stadiums and the building of the stadiums. I mean, I think we have 3 fantastic stadiums in Montreal, in Toronto, and in Vancouver, and we're seeing what's happening with York 9 and Hamilton and all these other teams that's involved in the CPL is creating more playing space and more stadiums for this game to grow. You played. What do you think makes John Herdman such a great coach? It's tough for me to say. I haven't been around the men's national team, so it's hard for me to say. I've never experienced working with him or being around when he's working, so it's tough for me to make that a proper analysis. But I definitely do wish them all the best and all the success. I'm trying to keep up with all these questions. What are some websites that you think kids could use become better soccer players? There's lots of things. I mean, just like how maybe you want to learn about a trade, or you want to fix something and you don't have the manual. What do? You go on YouTube and you pull up how it is to fix. No different than soccer. If you're weak in one foot, or you want to learn how to learn something new, there's so many different YouTube videos and things out there, platforms that kids could go on to better improve their knowledge and their ability. Who's your favorite soccer player? My favorite soccer player at the moment is Messi. I'm always a big fan of Lionel Messi. Okay, guys, sorry, just got bumped off a little bit. Just gonna answer some more of these questions here. While MLS academies have proved productive in developing talent towards an MLS, is there a gap in resources between MLS academies and other grassroots youth clubs? In terms of gap, I'm not sure what you mean in terms of gap. There's definitely going to see a huge talent difference because the academies have access, or should have access and resources, to have kids that are all around the same playing level or better. So you will see a stronger teams in these academy structures. And I think most clubs in the local area, in conjunction to the MLS teams, will want to send their top players in MLS environment. So there's a pathway that will help better that kid's career. I know there's a lot of academies and clubs that want to hold on to these kids to better their team. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if a kid wants to take his game to the next level, has potential to take the game to the next level, then you should definitely put them in environments where they can grow and excel in their craft. As a coach of U14 boys, I love game-based 4v4. Oh, I just lost that. How are you still getting in some extra practice with COVID-19? Well, don't forget, right now you can go outside. So doing a lot of hills running is very good. Getting up early and going for jogs, going for bike rides, just trying to stay active is very important. We know that the city has opened up a little bit more, so getting out and kicking a ball around with a friend is encouraged. So just make sure that you're smart and you're very mindful of your safety and doing all the necessary protocols to stay safe. The MLS has expanded to 22 teams and its membership is fixed. Do you see this changing and include more Canadian teams? I like the fact that it's fixed for now, because it allows a little more focus on the next phase of development leading into 2026. Do I think more Canadian teams are coming in? I think it all depends on how well the the CPL does. So that might be a little tricky question at this moment, but I think where the place and where MLS is going, it's only going to get bigger and it's only going to get stronger. How far do you think the current batch of players on the men's national team can go? Really, they can go extremely far. It's all about the resources that we provide for them on a national front and making sure that they have as much qualifying games and utilize as much FIFA dates as possible to get the team together. Canada is a very difficult, different situation from a lot of other countries. And the simple fact is we don't have our own professional league, whereas most countries in the world do have their own professional league. And a lot of these players are playing one style, where we have players playing all over the world that have adapted many different styles, coached by many different coaches. So it's very hard to bring that cohesiveness together in a short time. So it's very important that we really utilize FIFA international dates. My son lives in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He loves soccer. What are his options to play in the MLS? Winnipeg, Manitoba. Well, I think again, the options are really on how much he's willing to put forth in terms of his training, how much is he commitment that he's going to do for his club, and eventually people will be talking about him, and he will start to raise eyebrows if he continues to work hard. And I know there's a CPL team in the Edmonton area, and so there's again another platform where he can potentially be seen for MLS opportunity. Hi Dwayne, I know you played some arena soccer. What did you think of the game? Was it hard on the body? Was it playing boards hard to get used to? No, playing with boards wasn't hard to get used to in the arena game. Having grown up in Toronto, as we know, this is our longest season is the winter months. So we grew up playing in a lot of these hockey arenas that people took over and threw down turf. It is extremely hard on the body. Yes, it is. But did I enjoy it? 100%. I love the game, and for me, it was another new challenge that I was happy that I tried it out. What is your favorite formation to play with and why? That's a good one. Favorite formation. 4-4-2 is one that I like because depending on how it's played, it could be played in multiple variations of a 4-4-2 because you could slide up your midfielders high and push your fullbacks up. So with every system, there's a system within that system that the way you play may not look like a 4-4-2. But I like always having 2 or 3 strikers up front to always put pressure on the defense. My styles are always usually very attacking minded formations. I love my fullbacks getting up the field. I like my defensive midfields and fullbacks building up through the back or through the side channels. So I like the ball on the ground. I like a very attacking style, a flowing attacking style of football. How can we support the DeRo Foundation? Where can we make donations? Well, thank you for asking. How you can support the DeRo Foundation, you go on derofoundation.com if you want to learn more about the foundation. And there's a link on there that you can click to download. Your donation is very kindly and generously welcomed. And again, kids in high-risk priority neighborhoods definitely need it, as we see right now at the crime rate going on in Ontario and in Canada with kids across the board. It's important to give our kids as much opportunity and really use sport to really take them away from these environments and these situations. And it's helped me growing up in Metro Housing community. And I know we can help impact a lot more kids' lives. So thank you for your question, derofoundation.com. I have a son, 10 years old, and his dream is to play professional soccer athlete, just like you. He has passion and he loved the sport since I can remember. He's worked hard. What guidance pathway would you recommend for him to continue his growth and skill and development? Well, I think at 10 years old, it's very important for the kid to continue to love the game, continue to grow his passion. He shouldn't, there's no pressure. Still very young. I think really continuously guiding his passion, guiding his love for the game. And just work with him, train him, but just keep making it fun. Keep making it fun so he can still love the game and still be passionate. Because as he get 14 and 15, that's when things start to get a little bit more serious. So now's the time to really enjoy it and let him run around and have fun and let him learn. What was the proudest moment you experienced in your career? Well, I'm grateful that I've been able to have a few, but my first is obviously signing my first pro contract, knowing that through all my hard work and my dedication, that it's finally paid off. Of course, representing my national team, Canada, I think that was a huge moment, understanding my parents' sacrifices for leaving Guyana, where my parents are from, and coming here to create a more opportunity for me. And so when I stand there and put on that jersey, it's not only a proud moment for me, but for my family, for all the sacrifices that they had to make to come over here to Canada for opportunities for myself. What was your proudest moment? Do you think the men's national team has benefited from new coach Herdman tutelage? Yes, I mean it's still remains to be seen, but as of right now, I think they're doing well. We have an interesting next round of qualifiers ahead of us, so I'm very excited to see how we do there. Even though we're classified as a favorite of that group, which we should be, but at the end of the day, a lot of these smaller countries have become stronger. So it's very important, and I think it's a good test we have in front of us. What was your best memory of soccer? Do you miss playing more? My best memory of soccer was going back to my first time with the national team, winning championships. Everybody plays to win a championship, so winning championships is always a beautiful thing. So it's hard to beat that one when you win championships. What was your favorite position? I really enjoyed the attacking midfield role. Just because I got on the ball a lot, so it was my favorite position to play attacking midfield. I saw the foundation had a gala in February. Are you planning on having another one? Yes. That is our first annual DeRo Foundation Gala. We are looking to continuously do that. Obviously, through COVID, it has put a little question mark, but we are going to have it. It's just a matter of when we're going to have it. So I hope you're interested to come out and support. So again, information will be on the derofoundation.com webpage regarding our gala coming up next year. I watched York 9 FC tie the Montreal Impact last year in person. I was impressed with the level of play. Who do you think? How close do you think the level of play in the CPL is to MLS? Um, it's getting closer, and we still are developing. We still need to do a better job developing the infrastructure from the grassroots level to the CPL level, and how that looks like in terms of getting our young athletes better prepared for the CPL transition. And but I mean, it's as you mentioned, if York tie Montreal Impact, I guess it shows you that there is it's fairly close. The competition level is fairly close, and I think it's only gonna get closer and closer. But that's healthy. That's healthy for the country. That means our kids are developing, and that means the clubs and academies and soccer is doing a greater job in terms of better providing knowledges to their coaches, so they could in turn help create and develop better players. So I guess before we go, I just want to say thank you very much for you guys' support. Thank you for logging on and supporting the All State Soccer Show. And it's a new exciting time to the virtual world. And I hope you guys could continuously, go on the DeRoFoundation.com webpage and learn more about how you can help support kids in inner city communities and kids in our own communities that need help and need guidance and need assistance. What sports do you like to play besides soccer? I'm a real big fan of basketball, so basketball would be my go-to after soccer, as well as I love track and field and swimming, and those are my two other favorite sports. Yeah, thank you guys for being a part of this, and we appreciate your time. We appreciate you guys supporting the All State Soccer Show, and continue to have a good day. See you guys.